This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of The Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys.
Coffee with Keith
and Katie on Public House Media.
We have our coffee with us. I think. Hope you have your coffee with you. Just take a sip. Coming at you again from our apartment. As last week we shared, we are in Kenosha with our apartment. Pleasant Prairie. We're not. Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, right on the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. Katie and I just recently moved here, and we've been very much enjoying it since the move. So this is where we'll be coming from most of the time now, as our Chicago apartment is no more. It was fun when it lasted. So today's show, let's jump right into it. It's called Not Brady.
Not Brady. Anybody but Brady.
And I think so many people share what Katie thought. You know, we watched the NFC and AFC championship game yesterday, and I think a lot of people were saying the same thing as Katie was. Not Brady. And I've never minded the Patriots. I've never been a fan of the Patriots, but I've never hated on the Patriots. I've never really actively cheered against them unless it was a team that I actually wanted to win. But last couple years, I wanted the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, honestly, because I didn't care about the Falcons and I didn't care about the Eagles. So, I wanted the Patriots to win the last 2 years. This year,
the little guy in the helmet.
The little guy in the helmet. I think so many people were saying not Brady, and the reason why people say not Brady or not Belichick is because they go all the time. It seems like they go all the time. This is their 9th time going to the Super Bowl in the last 19 years, I think.
I think that's
this will be the 9th year in season 19. I think that's it. It's either 9 and 18, 9 and 19, 9 and 20, something like that. But it's Brady's and Belichick's 9th time, and it's crazy to think about. And what I always like to think of, and the way I like to look at it, is that so many people look back on other sports franchises with like, oh wow, they were so great, weren't they so great? And I know you probably had haters back then saying, well, anybody but, in the 60s and 50s and 60s, anybody but the Celtics. The Celtics always go to the NBA championship. And, people in hockey, anybody but the Canadians, in the 50s. But now you look back at, people look back at it and you think, wow, that was pretty impressive. You look back at the history and what other teams were able to accomplish or not accomplish, and think, wow, that was pretty impressive. So I've always tried to think of, to the Patriots like that, like, wow, I don't want to see the same team in the Super Bowl every year unless it's my own team. Packers, sure, why not? But I don't want to see the same team in the Super Bowl any more than anybody else does. But, looking back at it, it's been really 20 years. It's been 2 decades of just pure domination by the Patriots in the AFC.
Yeah.
And I think we're still, since Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl in 2001, the AFC quarterbacks representing the Super Bowl, it's either been Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, or Peyton Manning. Really, it was those 3. You had Joe Flacco thrown in there with another random one thrown in there, I think. But really, those have been the 3 quarterbacks, and Tom Brady obviously leading the charge. Tom Brady has won more playoff games as a starting quarterback than any other quarterback has played.
Yeah.
I think now Tom Brady he's won 29 playoff games. I think the only other quarterback behind Tom Brady in playoff appearances was Peyton Manning with about 27 or something. So Tom Brady has 2 more wins in the playoffs than Peyton Manning has even played in.
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning has gone to 4 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning's gone to 4.
How many rings does he have? 1?
2.
2. Both he and Eli have 2.
Yeah, he's won and I think he's 1-1. He's won 1 and lost 1 with the Colts, and he's won and lost 1 with the Broncos. Eli Manning, if it wasn't for Eli Manning, Tom Brady would have 7 championships right now.
But anyway, we said not Brady. So enough about Brady.
Enough about Brady.
We're done with Brady. Stop.
But it got us thinking,
Yes.
what are some other great sports franchises in all of sports? Doesn't matter, college basketball, women's college basketball, college baseball, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. There have really been a lot of great dynasties, and it seems that 3 real notable ones have been in Boston or that Northeast area, because mentioned the Boston Celtics when the Celtics when the Celtics in the late 50s, early 60s, they won 11 NBA Finals in 13 years. They won 11 out of 13. I think Bill Russell played for 13 years, and he only didn't win a championship twice in a 13-year career. He won 13 out of 11, 13 times out of 11 seasons. That's crazy. That's Boston. The Celtics also had a good dynasty going there in the 80s as well, with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and those other guys. So the Celtics had been with the Boston Bruins. They had a good rival. They had a good run there as well. The Boston Bruins hockey, if you don't know about the Bruins, and of course, also in the Northeast area, UConn women's basketball.
UConn women's basketball.
I think they've won 11. They've won 11
so.
since 1991 or something like that.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to pull it back up. It went away.
UConn's women's basketball is crazy. Gino Auriemma, they went on a 70-game winning streak, maybe a couple more, and then his team broke their 70-game winning streak with a 90-game winning streak. And the only other coach that really had that amount of success like that was John Wooden with UCLA, where he won 10 championships in 12 seasons. He won 7 straight, 10 out of 12. That's pretty crazy too. But Gino Auriemma, he has 11, so I think he has one more championship than John Wooden at this point. But again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about that we got on this because of the Patriots, not Brady.
We're not talking about Tom.
We're not talking about Tom Brady anymore. But there are a lot of other great franchises in sports and dynasties.
For example, UConn women's basketball. You were just saying.
You just touched on that.
From 2000 to 2014, they've won 8 championships, 3 consecutive.
3 consecutive.
And then one that no one knows about, because it's women. North Carolina women's soccer.
Well, because it's soccer.
And it's women.
We all know about UConn women's basketball because it's basketball.
But North Carolina women's soccer, their dynasty, 1979 to 2012.
That's not a dynasty. That's just a dominant program right there. How many?
They've won 22 national championships. 21 of those are NCAA tournament championships.
Oh, they probably didn't have an NCAA tournament that first championship.
They've been winning since before the NCAA.
Before they had an NCAA tournament for women's soccer. That's pretty good.
Right?
That's pretty impressive. What's another big one? If you're watching, if you have something to contribute to this one too, I mean, you could talk about any sport. The Yankees in the late 90s.
The Yankees.
88, 89, 98, 99, 2000. They won 3 straight. I think the Yankees with Derek Jeter. They won 4. They won 4 in a short period of time.
Let's talk about ones that people don't know about, like the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
Go
maybe
on.
you know.
If you're a baseball fan.
If you're a baseball fan. Right. If you're a baseball fan now, you might not know because the Reds are notoriously terrible.
Terrible now. Yeah.
And
Well,
but
go
they
ahead.
had the Big Red Machine
Big Red Machine.
with Pete Rose when Pete Rose was playing.
Oh yeah.
And what does this say?
And who was their catcher?
They won
Pete Rose.
5 between 1970 and 76. They won 5 National League Western Division titles, 4 pennants, which means they went to the World Series 4 times.
Don't give me a division title. Who cares about division titles? Division titles mean nothing.
Pete Rose was a crucial hitter.
Johnny Bench was good too for them.
Oh, that guy. Yep.
He was their catcher. Johnny Bench was really good. Well, don't give me division championship. You might say that the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Braves were dominant. Here's Mr. Fuzzy Face again,
Mr. Fuzzy Face.
putting his face in the coffee cup. Hey,
Fuzz,
get out of here.
if you're going to be in the video, put your face on the camera.
Get out of here. Get your tail out of there. But the Braves were really good in the 90s, but they only won 1 championship. Don't give me division titles. I don't care. Division titles mean nothing.
What about the Bills? Can the Bills be a dynasty?
No, the
because
Bills aren't a dynasty.
they achieved how many teams were in the league then?
Well, no other
30
team.
other teams didn't.
To this day, I don't think any team has made it to 4 straight Super Bowls.
But I mean, in each season, they were better than 30 other teams.
It might have been 30. Maybe it was 28 at the time, 29 to 28.
But
I'm not
4
sure.
consecutive
30.
seasons.
Right.
They were the second best team in the league. They don't have rings for it,
So?
but they went a long ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can put down
I
the
think-
Super Bowl losers as much as you want, but
I think you got to win it. You got to
You
win
didn't make
one.
it.
You got to win one championship in a dynasty. You have to win one championship in order for it to be called the dynasty. I think you need to win at least one championship. I think. Oh, let's get that out of there.
what are you doing?
I don't know. Get that out of there. I think you have to win at least one championship in order for it to be called a dynasty. Otherwise, you've had a bunch of good seasons.
Bills, the Buffalo Bills.
Who are you thinking of?
I said the Bulls,
Oh, I knew you meant the.
but they might not have, because I
the
said
Bills.
Buffalo.
Oh, you said the
therefore-
Buffalo Bulls?
I said
I
the
thought you said
Bulls.
Bill. Anyways,
You
the
knew
Bills,
what I was talking about.
not a dynasty. You gotta win. You gotta win to be a dynasty. Otherwise, you're just
Which the
a
Bulls
team.
did.
You're just a team that's always falling short. The Bulls, I think
Chicago
that's the
Bulls.
one that everybody really, really remembers because they were the first. At least for our generation, they were the first dynasty for anybody in our generation, or maybe a couple of years older would truly remember because they were in the 90s. They won They won 3 Pete championships twice.
Yeah.
In 90, 91, 92, 93, they took 94, 95 off, and then 96, 97, 98, they won again. So 6 championships in 8 years. 2 of went 3 and
don't
then 3.
count.
But 2 of them don't count.
It's like when Brett Favre went to the Vikings. It doesn't count
Why don't the other 2 count? What do you mean?
because Michael
Favre.
Jordan wasn't there.
But you see, that's the common misconception that people think. The Bulls they didn't win the championship when they only didn't win when Michael Jordan was there, and it was true. He wasn't there for the regular. Michael Jordan returned, and he was in the playoffs for the Bulls that other season. That I think it was 94-95 year. Because in 93-94 they didn't win it, in 94-95 they didn't win it. But Michael Jordan had come back to the Bulls in time for that playoff run. So really, people can say, Jordan took 2 years off. He didn't take 2 full seasons off, and he was back in time for the Bulls to be with them in the playoffs, and they didn't win. So
But their rhythm was probably thrown off being without him for 2 full regular seasons.
the Bulls were
like, oh no, we don't know how to play with Michael Jordan anymore.
That's another misconception. The Bulls went, they won something like 58, 59 games in the regular season with Jordan in 93. And then when Jordan left, their win total only went down by like 3 games or something like that. They were still a really good team without Michael Jordan. I'm not trying to put down Michael Jordan.
It really seems like you are.
I'm not trying to put him down, but I'm just saying he was. They say, well, Jordan wasn't there for 2 years. He wasn't there for like a year and 3 quarters. That one quarter being the playoffs, in which he was there for the playoffs. And the Bulls, it wasn't just Michael Jordan. The Bulls were an incredibly good team, top to bottom. They don't win a single championship without Jordan. I'm willing to admit that, but the Bulls were solid, top to bottom. Anyways, what were other good? We touched on UCLA basketball, college basketball,
Packers,
college football. Nick Saban
in
Alabama. They're like the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. They've ruined the game for everybody else.
They have.
But
I like Alabama, so it's okay.
But if you're a college football coach and if you're not winning a national championship, you're considered a failure.
Yep.
In many places, because Nick Saban, everybody thinks you should just win national championships.
Even though only one team can win the championship.
Only one team can do it. And it's Ben Saban or Clemson, Ben Saban in Alabama or, Dabo Swinney in Texas, not Texas, in Clemson for the last couple of years. And, it seems like Clemson with Swinney, they're the only teams that can actually play with Alabama right now. But Bama and Saban has ruined it for the rest of the college football guys.
But it's okay.
Belichick and the Patriots have ruined it for the rest of the NFL coaches. Because
I
everybody thinks you should just.
I don't like them.
Everybody thinks you should just go to nine Super Bowls in a decade. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
They did it. Why can't 30 other teams do it? 31 other teams do it.
That's fair. I mean,
Although I will say, I would rather not go to the Super Bowl than lose in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, as a Packer fan, I think we as Packer fans, we've seen the Packers win 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
So for us, I think we don't need them to make it to the Super Bowl so much because we've seen them in 3 Super Bowls as fans. They've played in Super Bowl 31, Super Bowl 32.
We beat Brady. That's all that matters. No, Brady wasn't. We beat the Patriots, which is basically the same thing.
We beat Drew Bledsoe. We beat Bill Parcells.
We beat the Patriots.
We beat the Patriots. Robert Kraft was the owner at the time. Adam Vinatieri was the kicker for the Patriots seriously. Adam Vinatieri still in the league. Still in the league. To this day, he is still in the league. And he played in Super Bowl 31 against the Packers when the Packers beat the Patriots. It was, Vinatieri, he's great. He's like 44 years old. He's still
outgrowing his helmet. His face is too big for his helmet.
Adam Vinatieri?
Yep.
Yeah. But Adam Vinatieri, he's a dynasty all on his own. He's been in the NFL for over 20 years, and he's still kicking. He's still one of the best kickers in the league. That's nice.
We should probably wrap it up for these guys.
Probably.
We've been rambling on, and no one's watching.
They'll watch later on. It doesn't matter. Well, I've had a great time talking.
I have too, and that's what matters.
NHL. We really haven't talked about we really didn't touch on the NHL too much. The Canadians were really good. Who was it? The New York Islanders. They won 4 championships in a row. 81, 82, 83, 84. That's pretty cool. And they've been historically terrible ever since.
Are they a team still?
Yeah, the Islanders. They're still a team. Yeah.
Well, there was all that confusion with the one kind of almost owner, and for some reason I thought they went away after that.
Oh, great documentary about the guy who was maybe worth like $1 million, convinced everybody that he was like a billionaire, and just through reputation, he was able to buy the New York Islanders. It's an amazing documentary. It's an ESPN 30 for 30. I forget the name of it. I think it's called Big Shot, and it's about a guy. He was a successful businessman, pretty successful businessman. I think he was like a millionaire,
Just a millionaire.
But no, he was a millionaire. He got about in the 80s. Right, he had a reputation of being a rich, successful businessman, but he was able, just by pure reputation of people knowing his name from whatever he did, you know, from being worth like $1 million just by reputation, he was able to convince the New York Islanders in the NHL that he was like a billionaire.
This was before Google.
And he was able to buy the team by just saying, yeah, trust me, I'm rich, yeah. Like, you know, there's a difference between millionaire rich and, you know, billionaire rich, but it's an amazing documentary, very interesting. The guy who produced it was E, the guy that played E in Entourage, the main character's best friend in Entourage. He produced the documentary. I think so. He's from New York. Anyways, that's a
Watch
good
that.
one.
We're
But-
gonna go now.
Yeah, but I could talk about this all day. Obviously, this is my subject. I could talk about this all day. But I choose, we say not Brady. Everybody is saying not Brady. I choose to embrace the fact that we're watching a rather impressive sports team do something that nobody in the NFL has ever done, which this much sustained success over a 20-year span. It's, be sick of it all you want. It's impressive. There's no other way to say it. It's impressive. So, we'll see. Are you saying not Brady? Are you saying go Pats? Are you saying go Rams? Let us know on the comment section below, and we'll see in 2 weeks
Yeah,
how it goes.
we'll find out.
Yeah. Nice little tidbit. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Wrap it up. So don't give me
Keith,
that.
I've
Wrap
been
it up.
trying to wrap you up for 5 minutes.
We've only been going for 20. I'm going to be in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. I have work to do in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. So how we do the show in the next 2 Mondays, it's going to be up in the air. Just letting you guys know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll be available. Maybe I won't be. Maybe Katie will just be doing the shows by herself. Who knows? But I'll be taking some photos when I have the chance. I'll try to upload some things to the Coffee with Keith and Katie and the Public House Media Facebook pages, so I can share my journeys with you through Atlanta in the next 10 days. I'm going to be there for 10 days.
Try to get Tom Brady on.
I'll try.
See if you can do
I'll try to
coffee
get
with Tom Brady.
Coffee with Tom Brady.
That's the only time I'll accept Tom Brady.
That will get us the most views, I think, that we've ever had before.
Yes.
Yeah, we just have Tom Brady on.
Hey, by the way,
Anyways, this has been Coffee with Keith.
and Katie on Public House Media.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back for next week with more Coffee with Keith and Katie. Take care and have a great week.
Bye, guys.